Yvette writes, just before we started filming, one of the presenters at Granada Breeze, who'd worked with him previously, Derek Acorah, said, you can't use Derek Acorah on your show. I'm warning you, he's a fake. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Lozzie. This is Lozzie's one-on-one, where we're going to talk about Lozzie's beliefs or lack thereof. And I've also, because obviously, Lozzie's a skeptic, not a believer, I thought, maybe we'll talk about some reasons as to why that could be and reasons why people out there, not just Lozzie, are skeptics. And Yvette Fielding has a new book out, and she has written about exposing Derek Acorah, which, of course, I'm sure there were some believers out there that once he was exposed were like, oh no, it's all bullshit. So we'll talk about that as well. But first of all, Loz, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too
You made
bad.
it back alive.
I did. So basically what Loz is referring to there is, so we haven't done an investigation this year. I do apologize. I've been getting used to a full-time job, etc., and then balancing everything. But we plan to go to the abandoned church on Saturday. It may even already be out by the time you're hearing this, but that was an investigation me and Maya did 3 years ago. So I thought, I don't want us all to get there on Saturday, and it not be there anymore. I happened to book today off work just because I just thought, fuck it, I'll just have a day off. Why not? And so I went and scoped it out. And I won't give any spoilers for either if you haven't seen it yet or if it's not out yet. But it is standing. So we will be going, which is excellent. I know how to get to it. I know how to find it within the woods. And it's going to be creepy because I absolutely loved the location before, and that was when we literally had like me, Maya, I think an EMF and the Necrophonic app, which now we have a spirit box. So yeah, and plus Lozzie and Bailey. Scott won't be attending, unfortunately, because it was just too far for him to come at short notice. But that wasn't the only place I scoped out, because not far from there is another abandoned place. Well, I say not far, it's actually a little bit far, but it's doable in a journey. And that was an abandoned RAF base. Now, I'm glad that I went and scoped that out because it was a bit of an arse to find how to get in. But once I did find how to get in, it was literally like just a path. It was grass, but like in a hedge. But it's literally just
Okay.
like, it's just like, imagine like going for a little wander in fucking Fritton Woods, mate. Right? It's just like a path that's obviously been made by people walking in and out.
Yeah.
No fences, yeah. And then all of a sudden, there is just like 9 massive RAF buildings. And so I run and gunned through one of them. I won't lie to you. I was like worried, like, because basically I was in one and I did the whole, like, I don't even know what shape it was. It just like there was like long corridors, and then it would go off to the right, and I'd go down there, then it would go off to the left. It was probably like in a Z or maybe even a square. I don't know. But so basically I did that, and as I was at the top, which I tell you what it was reminiscent of, Loz. Do you remember that room when me, you, Jimmy, Ben, and Dan on Atma
Yeah.
went to the abandoned, I think that was an RAF base as well, and we
Yeah.
found that sofa, and we did that cool like photo shoot for the shirts and that.
Yeah.
So it was just like at their top, a long corridor, and then it was just a massive open room, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
didn't go anywhere. I was in one of those. I was like, oh shit, this is cool. And then I heard voices outside. So I was like, fuck, because I didn't know if A, it was like some other explorers, or B, because there's a lot of like private roads and shit around there. I didn't know if it was like, the community watch or whatever, the neighborhood watch, or police, or, so I sort of like did a, not to be topical again because Gears of War E-Day, but you know how you sprint in Gears of War where you like
Oh,
stay low,
yeah.
where you're basically squatting but sprinting. So I did that down the corridor to get back to the bottom floor to kind of sneak round and get out of the building back to my car without bumping into whoever these people may be. So, yeah, the idea I filmed it all, which the idea is to be the intro to the investigation when we do the investigation. But if that doesn't materialize, or if it's cut down a lot, which it might do, because obviously this was more of just an urban exploration scouting mission rather than a paranormal investigation, it will end up in full over on Patreon, which you can become a patron. Patreon.com/Duty Rhino for as little as £1 a month. But it was a lot of fun. I then exited the building, and then before going back to my car, wandered through. There's these big trees that the branches come down low. It's not like hard to get through, but it's just like kind of sheltered. It's quite nice.
Okay.
Went under them, and then that's when I saw, like, fucking hell, there's like 6 or 7 more of these buildings. This is absolutely mad. And I was like, do I go and have a look in these buildings and risk my life just a little bit longer, or do I turn around and get in my car, which I've parked, and I don't know if those people are maybe clamping my car or something. I don't know what's going on, even though there's no signs to not park there. I just want to add, but you just never know with these sort of places.
Yeah.
And so I decided I thought, no, we're bringing the team back here, so it's absolutely fine. So I decided to turn around and go back to my car. But yeah, so I explored one of the buildings by myself. It was very scary. And fortunately, spoilers, there was no one in there on the inside, but there was someone or two or three people on the outside. So yeah, that was what I've been doing this morning, rather than us getting there and then either that church has been demolished or getting to the RAF base and we can't get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of like we know that we can get into these locations. So that's at least 2 investigations. And then, to be fair, in August we have 30 East Drive. So that's 3 investigations. And so, yeah. And then I'd also I am kind of craving a haunted hotel room experience, I think.
Yeah.
That would be
They are
cool.
always pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah. So I think we'll certainly have the next few months sorted for sure. And if we can get, I know the plan is to potentially film the church and the RAF base back to back. If we could get those 2 done in quick succession, even if it's not the same night, then all of a sudden, we can. I don't want to get ahead of myself because we haven't done one in 6 fucking months, but then all of a sudden we can be getting a little bit of a bank together, which is quite cool.
Mm.
But yeah, so that was my morning. And I also had a golf lesson before that, so
There you go.
it's been
He does
very.
everything.
That's it. It's been very productive so far. But yeah, really looking forward to going there on Saturday and getting the investigations back on, which is really cool. So yeah, are you looking forward to them?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm looking forward to the church slightly more, just because I know the chances that someone would be there are probably slightly lower,
Yeah,
considering the size of the RAF base. Uh,
yeah. The thing is fucking huge.
yeah, but they're both to a certain. Well, they're both abandoned, so
Yeah,
the risk is there no matter what. But I feel like the church is, I think, might be. I also, it will be different because I have been to an RAF base before, but although I haven't done an investigation at one, I've not been to a church that's been abandoned before. I don't think, to my
yeah,
knowledge. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what goes down.
yeah. Definitely, man. Absolutely. I was actually thinking earlier because we did years ago. I think we went to an abandoned hospital. It's now been demolished, I think, or
Yeah,
got
yeah,
burnt down in Norwich years ago. And I'm 99% sure, right, that my idea for that video, and it makes 0 sense. My idea for that video was as a promotional video for my Resident Evil 7 playthrough that I was going to do. So we went to an abandoned hospital to walk round, and it was like -5 degrees, wasn't it? The floor was all icy.
Yeah, that
Remember,
was
we arrived, and the front door, the whole wooden board that boarded up the front door, was just on
yeah,
the ground. Probably looked like we took it down. We absolutely didn't.
we didn't.
But we just got there and we're like, well, that's fucking easy.
Yeah,
And then we just went in.
probably one of the easiest access we've ever had to somewhere that's been abandoned.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Look, there's a hole.
See that on the wall? See that?
Yeah, so we kind of wandered around there, and I just remember it was absolutely like sub-zero temperatures. Had you? This is really gonna, test your memory.
Jesus.
Had you been there previously, or did you go back with Amber? I believe.
Yeah, I can't remember if we'd been there before or we went there after, but I tend to think it might have been before, just because I think we took a few photos,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that gave you the idea to go back, but I think it
Mm,
might have given you the impetus to go back
quite possibly.
to maybe film the promo for the, the
For
Resident
Resident
Evil.
Evil. And then, but other than maybe saying it in the video, which I don't even know if I did, other than that, there's no relation to Resident Evil 7
Absolutely.
whatsoever. I think I just played the demo, was really hyped. The full game was coming out. My Resident Evil 7, on the channel, there's a full Resident Evil 7 playthrough, by the way,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Resident Evil 8, and not Last of Us, Outlast. And oh man, there's a few good survival horror game full playthroughs on this
Mm.
channel. But yeah, how random. But that would have been like the very, very, very first
Yeah.
thing like that we did, and then it would have been like years later. We then did the fort with Jack, and
Yes.
then like maybe a year after that, a year and a half, we were then in Daring Woods. And
Yeah.
then obviously then we just started rolling with the investigations and stuff. So
We did go back. I think it was the same place. We did go back. It wasn't for an strictly
oh
investigation video. We did go
yeah.
back to film there.
Yeah,
But
we were filming the which I thought was a fantastic video, by the way, and it for all intents and purposes flopped. It was like ghost hunter stereotypes,
yes, yeah,
wasn't it?
that's
That
yeah,
was a fucking great video. One of the clips where we're taking the piss out of Nuke's top 5 did, I think it's got like 25,000 views or something like that on the short, maybe even 70,000, I don't know. But whereas like we had Maya run past just in like a
yeah,
full black, like what are they, like morph suit,
yeah,
had like a shadow figure. And then there was obviously also the funny one where you dragged her across the side and then I like run up and then you're still in the shot.
yeah,
Which is quite fitting, actually, because obviously you're a bit of a skeptic, and I know that, there are some channels out there, some ghost hunters out there, that do fake stuff. And my opinion on it is, I don't agree with it as someone and as a part of a team that don't fake anything, because we want, to know that if anything happens, if we hear footsteps above us, we know we haven't got someone else running around. So
yeah,
we think, hang on a fucking minute, well, what the fuck's that then?
yeah,
But I do understand that there are some channels out there that do it for entertainment purposes. I kind of relate it to WWF, WWE wrestling.
yeah.
It's not real, but they're putting a shift in and they're making it entertaining for people.
Mm,
But I do feel like if you do that, I feel you should explicitly
yeah,
explain that, you
yeah.
know?
I feel like if there's a disclaimer at the start of the video that says everything you're about to see is for entertainment purposes,
Yeah.
um, if you then mask it as it's basically being documented as it's being reality,
Yeah.
then that's for me where you're like, wow, that's
Yeah.
just that's just not on.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
but then I don't want to stop people making shit, but it
Yeah.
equally you can't expect not to be called out if it is sus as fuck.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah,
it's a kind of, I guess it's a free market really. If you make something that which is blatantly you've
yeah,
got someone on the inside or you're faking stuff, then you're going to get called out on it. Um,
100%.
but if you put the disclaimer at the start, you're probably not going to have as many people who are pissed off that you're obviously manufacturing stuff. But
Yeah.
it is
I
what it is.
mean, there's one channel, and I'm not saying whether this was fake or not. Like, I'm not accusing. Or like, I'm not flat out saying it. I'm alleging. I don't know if this is good or not. But it really took me by surprise. I haven't watched them in ages, but there's a channel. I don't know what they're doing now. They might still be killing it. There's a channel called Mindseed. Have you ever heard of them? A
Yeah,
couple of American
yeah,
guys. And the production value was always fantastic. They had these great like cutaways and stuff, and they had some really great videos. And there was like this. It looked fucking ripped, fresh out of Phasmophobia maps, mate. Like it was like this cabin where apparently someone had been or people had been murdered and it was haunted and all this sort of stuff, right? And I'm watching it, and as far as I'm aware, because I've been watching these guys for a little while, like I haven't seen anything crazy to think like, oh man, that's either like the most insane ghost evidence ever or they're faking stuff.
yeah.
And then I'm just watching, right? And then I think they're like going up the stairs or something. There's a loud crash, and then one of the guys falls over at the top of the stairs, and the other guy pans to him, and then he gets full on fucking dragged away.
Right.
And then I was like, what the fuck? And then I just thought, like, there's just no way that could be real. So then
Yeah,
all of a sudden I was like, wait, do these guys fake stuff? And obviously, it could be real. Who knows? I'm not making an accusation. But in the moment, I was just like, wait,
yeah,
hang on. And so I think like if if there was someone else I mean, they're not small dudes. Do you know what I mean? They're well built. So that'd be an effort to pull a guy, right?
well,
And
yeah,
if that's the case, and it was a ghost, holy shit! Congratulations, you got some of the most insane evidence I've ever seen. If it wasn't, then come on, guys. Like, what is this? Is this what are you trying to achieve here? Are you just doing this for views and clicks and you're deceiving people, or are you doing it for entertainment purposes and you're going to be transparent and blah blah blah? That's where how I think it should be anyway.
yeah,
But then it's easy for me to say that because, we're just sort of like, well, we just rock up. If fuck all happens, fuck all happens. We don't really care. We just want to have a good time, have a spooky time, and then maybe prove that ghosts are real or maybe not. So there's no, and also especially now that it's not my job and stuff anymore, there's no bills on the line or anything like that, which pats on back considering that their bills were on the line and I still didn't fake shit. But anyway, the fact that even that pressure is gone now, you
yeah,
know, whereas maybe if you've got a channel where you've got millions of subscribers and it's like everything's on the fucking line and blah blah blah, you need, and also you maybe get one crazy moment that was legit and it went fucking mental, and then you're like, shit, we kind of need to get back to those kind of heights. How do we do this? And then maybe some of these channels start out with the best of intentions. Who knows?
yeah,
Or maybe they're actually legitimate and frustratingly, everyone just thinks that they're fake because, there have been things like, even though we tried our best to debunk it, and then when we were going to have our final time debunking the woman in the fucking wardrobe reflection, someone burnt the farmhouse down.
yeah,
I'm sure there are people that are out there that are like, well done. You had someone else in a dress standing in the doorway. And it's like, we didn't, because I was there. We fucking didn't, so I can also understand why there'd be frustration that way as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean,
So,
it's a game you play. I mean, if
yeah,
you going back to if you don't put the disclaimer up, you then run the risk of yes, you probably get lots of views. The cynical part of me thinks that people probably do it on purpose, so people get outraged, watch it more, comment on it, share it, all that sort of shit.
yeah,
But if you find anything after that, you then delegitimize everything else you've ever made about
yeah,
paranormal, whatever it may be.
yeah,
So it's a game you play. It is a risk you run, but
yeah,
yeah, it's up to you at the end of the day. But I do think like if you don't say explicitly that it's for entertainment purposes, you're going to get called out. and you do run the risk if you do find something legit, no one's going to really take any notice.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's absolutely right. Um, but yeah, it's tricky. It's especially easy for me to say now, because at the end of the day, if we wanted to jack it all in, we absolutely can, and it would have financially zero bearing on my life.
Yeah,
Whereas obviously these guys and gals, it's literally their livelihoods, I guess.
yeah.
So who knows? But um, yeah, would you say that your skepticism is sort of like has its foundations in people, or how common it is for people to fake stuff in this industry, or do you just think it's just too too not like insane, or kind of too insane to believe and to get behind, or is it a bit of both?
I think it's more both. I do realize how easy it is to fake stuff. I mean, for example, there was a Patreon clip. I don't know if it's gone out yet. I'd imagine it has. It was the one where we had to kind of, there was a balloon that was following the guard at the school.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, we watched that several times, and it took us probably about 10 minutes to fully
Hmm.
debunk it.
Yeah,
But there were moments in those 10 minutes where I think all of us were like, "Oh shit, that's pretty,
that's pretty nuts.
pretty nuts." Um, so I do think there is an element of how easy it is to fake stuff and how long it takes people to, basically, you'd have to go through that whole video to find out at the end definitively that it was a load of bollocks. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people will probably, unless you really were interested in watching it all, the amount of people that probably would have shared that just as soon as the balloon moved and then
Mm,
just, you know, didn't really watch it all to the end. I
yeah.
would think there's probably a high number of people who do that. So it is easy to fake stuff and it is easy for people to share it, which is great for virality. But if you're looking to actually find out if there is anything, like think we all are in this group,
Yeah.
um, it's not that great. But then also, I've never had any experience in my life, so that plays into it. I take
Mhm.
my own lack of experience as a pillar of my lack of belief in it.
Yeah.
Two, and this one probably slightly less because I do believe in aliens, so this one probably makes a little bit less sense. There's no logic at all to the paranormal. None of it really makes any sense to me. None of the theories, all the theories that are like stone tape theory,
Mm.
for me, that can't exist with other theories because I just don't understand how spirits, whatever they may be, communicate through certain channels but don't in other ways. But then if you take stone tape theory away, they communicate or supposedly communicate with you in other ways that don't make sense either to me. Like, for example, if you have a ghost from, like, I don't know, the 1800s,
Mm.
ain't got a fucking clue what modern technology is like, yet they will know how to communicate to you through a bit of technology that's never been seen before by them. To me, it takes a lot in my mind to go, "What?
Yeah.
I don't understand how that could be possible." So
Yeah.
maybe it's a mental block. Maybe it is just like I don't accept it because it's not logical. Um, the aliens thing, I believe in aliens just because it's mathematically, it
Yeah.
seems ridiculous to say there's no aliens. So it's, that plays a part, but the main thing is that it's so easy to fake stuff, and I've never had a paranormal experience in my life, so I can't sit here and say I believe because I don't.
Yeah. No, I do understand, of course, 100% where you're coming from. And it's difficult. And you do kind of have to, I guess, unless you've had point blank experience, you do kind of have to fudge it a little bit to make it make sense. But one of the things that I've always, not always, obviously, but in the last number of years, say a decade or whatever, as I've grown older and observed just society as a, and our species and science, etc., is that I might sound a little bit ignorant here, but science is only right until it's not anymore. Do you know what I mean? Science is constantly being disproven, and then like there's a new
Yeah,
thing, right? It happens in like physics, chemistry, everything, right? And it could be a case that there are things within the paranormal that are just either completely beyond human comprehension,
yeah,
or that we just don't understand, and so we view everything from our current scientific understanding, you know, and uh, and that doesn't mean that that is correct. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like
I
who
think
the
I know what
fuck,
you mean.
go back. This is a bit of a weird tangent, but go back to the cavemen, right? Or whenever fire was discovered, right? And just think logically about having a bit of flint in your hand and having like the ground or something, another rock.
Mm,
You have two rocks in your hand, and yet if you smack them together, they will create a spark that can set something on fire that will increase the heat that you can use for heat, light, protection, and cooking
yeah,
out of two inanimate rocks, right?
yeah,
Before that, they're just two inanimate rocks. After that, holy shit, all of the potential. So, and so, in a weird way, again, fudging my own logic to make it work, there's energy and things like, well, tangible energy that we can um, measure. And then obviously you got the spiritual stuff, which is entirely at the moment subjective, blah blah blah. Although apparently there is like that. Have you heard about that whole the proof of the human soul? Because when we die, we like lose. We're like lighter. Have you heard about that?
no,
I'm pretty sure. Hang on, when we die, do we get lighter soul? The 21 grams experiment. McDougall hypothesized that souls have physical weight and attempted to measure the mass lost by a human when the soul departed the body. So this is what I'm referring to. This may actually now tell us that it turned out to be incorrect. But then every day you learn it.
that's it.
Attempted to measure the mass lost. McDougall attempted to measure the mass change of 6 patients at the moment of death. One of the 6 subjects lost 3/4 of an ounce, 21.3 grams. McDougall, incredible name, stated his experiment would have to be repeated many times before any conclusion could be obtained. The experiment is widely regarded as flawed and unscientific due to the small sample size, the methods used, as well as the fact only one of the 6 subjects met the hypothesis. Okay, so it's a bit shy, but my point is, like, we could discover, like, the fucking fifth dimension or something, like, like what's that film with Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, Interstellar.
Interstellar type shit, right?
Mm.
Fit like where we access other dimensions, all sorts of stuff. And that is what this could potentially be, just stuff that we don't understand from different dimensions, different planes of existence, different planes of light, not necessarily your fucking great auntie, but something else.
Yeah,
And that is what I'm open to. That potential, the ignorance of humanity, that not the it's sort of like the arrogance of humanity to think that we know it all when we absolutely fucking don't,
yeah, yeah,
is why I'm open to the possibility of paranormal things,
yeah.
if that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
I, I would just like to say if there was like, I'm not like a denier. If there was empirical evidence that there was some other plane of existence possible, I
Yeah.
would be open to that. Obviously exploring that. It's not that I don't believe because I don't believe. I don't believe because I haven't seen proof yet. Um. So
Yeah, no, I can completely vouch for that, knowing you so well. I don't think that you would see a ghost and be like, "Fuck off." Where's the strings or where's the projector?
yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's a tough one. I totally get it. And for what it's worth, like, I was fucking well on the fence. If you watch me in the Daring Woods video, like, I didn't give a fuck the first one, and I was
Yeah.
borderline disrespectful. And then kind of Ancient Ram In happened, basically. And I'm not going to go into it. We say every fucking podcast, but that mirror thing, I just can't explain it. I cannot explain it, and it's fucking weird and it's horrible. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's that, and that pushes you into, well, fuck me, if that can happen, then what else can, sort of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I can see how that experience with the mirror has changed your entire, maybe not philosophy, but your entire perspective on it.
yeah,
Um, because, like I said, if I experienced something like that, I would definitely it wouldn't just be like that's bullshit. I'd think about it. I'd
yeah,
think about it. I mean, I still think personally it's gonna have to be a full on apparition
yeah,
communicating to me not through technology, talking to me as
yeah,
if they are another thing from another realm. Like, basically,
yeah,
they're in a different line of existence
yeah,
and they're talking to me. Not No, we're not like deciphering messages through a
yeah,
REM pod or an EMF. There's a lot of guesswork that happens in a lot of the technology that we use,
yeah,
which, part of it, I get the appeal of, you having your question answered by them altering lights on something or making a noise after you've asked the question. I get that, but it's not enough for me to go like, "Oh shit, that means they're real. That means there's
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
tangible there." So yeah, that's just the way that my mind works.
Yeah, no, which is, of course, absolutely, absolutely fair enough. And hopefully one day we will. I mean, that'd be incredible. Like, even if it happened, when the cameras were off, I wouldn't. If we, because that's the other thing is, like, yes, obviously we're doing this, to provide videos for you guys, and also to create a bank of memories for us to look back on. I look forward to watching these again in like 15 years time, but
Mm.
um that sort of thing, obviously, if we got on camera, holy fucking shit. But even if we didn't, the whole point is to prove to ourselves that this is real.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely fucking huge. Right, we did refer to it at the start. Derek Acorah. So Scott actually put in our drip group chat that he purchased a book the other day, Yvette Fielding's new book. Apology, it might say this in this article, because apologies, the name of it does escape me. But Scott bought Yvette Fielding's new book. Friend of the show, been on her podcast myself, good friend of mine. All I will say, Yvette, I love you very much, but 22 quid, come on now. Let's bring that book price down.
22
Good.
quid!
22 quid. Scott bought it, so
Full
we're
price.
supporting you, Yvette. We're supporting you, okay?
Sick. Well,
And
Scott
I'm
is.
not. That's it. But the Sun newspaper, even worse than that, the sun.co.uk, has reported on an excerpt from the book because she talks about Derek Acorah. Now, I wanted to talk about Derek Acorah with you today, Loz, because obviously you're a skeptic. And then, when we're talking about do things being faked affect how you think about this, which of course it does for everyone. And then I found this, that actually her book that released like a week ago or 2 weeks has actually gone into exactly this. What are the chances? Okay, so Yvette writes, just before we started filming, one of the presenters at Granada Breeze, who'd worked with him previously, Derek Acorah, said, you can't use Derek Acorah on your show. I'm warning you, he's a fake. I know how he gets all this supposed spiritual information he comes up with on his show. On your own heads be it. How we wish many times in the next 5 or so years that we'd listen to her advice. So, I mean, from the get-go, they were told he was a fake, and they continued to use him for about 6 years.
Yeah.
That's not great. That's
No.
not great. So the signs were there from the beginning. Once he was a bit drunk and stood up, put his arms out like he'd been crucified on the cross, and proclaimed he was the second coming of Jesus.
I mean that is up there in terms of, you know, Billy Big Bollocks moves. Just be like, do you know
He's
what? I'm the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, it's like you're not just going to be like, look, I'm Doris who died 2 years ago in this house.
Yeah,
You're going for the king.
that's it.
You are that guy. That's insane. You're like, look, bow before me.
Water into wine.
Insane. He then proceeded to chase me round the restaurant. Wait, is this when he was pretending to be? This is when he was pretending to be Jesus. He then proceeded to chase me around the restaurant, and I was batting him away because he was trying to ram his tongue down my throat. Derek was also trying to snog me. What on earth? So this guy was like, "Oh, I'm possessed by Jesus," and Jesus wants to kiss you with it. That's what he's
What
trying to
the
get away with.
jeez.
This is insane. We laughed off that night and thought Derek's had a bit too much to drink. We were to discover subsequently that Derek and alcohol were not a good mix. Derek started saying he needed the toilet a lot when we were doing the walkabouts in the show. It was about every 10 to 15 minutes. He blamed the toll the spirits were taking on his body, but some of the crew became suspicious. One of the sound guys let Derek's mic run to see if he was up to anything. Okay. Spirits are taking over me body. I need a fucking piss, like. Derek was a Scouse, by the way. I didn't just do that for no reason.
Didn't just make that up.
Yeah. That's slander. He was, in fact, from, I don't know, Dis. I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know. No, so, yeah, every 10, 15 minutes, bit sus in it. You know, you start getting Google on your phone, smartphones. This guy's career skyrockets. Didn't he play for Liverpool?
I have no idea.
I'm sure.
If he did, that's awful.
Acorah,
I bet they etched that from the fucking history.
football career. Let's see his right. He was a football. He was signed to Liverpool in the Bill Shankly era.
Jesus.
Oh, but never made a first team appearance.
There you go.
There we go.
That's why he's not in. Oh dear.
He's
Get him
not in
out
the
of-
Hall of Fame. He's not in the
No.
Hall of Fame. Right. So 10, 15 minutes. When he played back the recording, so they've filmed him in the toilet, we could hear Derek on his phone in the toilet cubicle asking for information on the history of the place. He's using text to speak. Or speak
Fuck's
to text.
sake, man.
Why wouldn't you just type it out? Hey Google, tell me who died in this building and when. He could have just texted it. He could have just texted it.
That's it.
So yeah, he's asking about information, right? The crew also got wind that if they said anything within earshot of Derek's entourage, it would come out in an investigation as if from the spirit world. To test this, we dropped in some rubbish about copies of the Bible having been written at Ordsall Hall in Salford. Sure enough, he claimed he could sense the monks writing the Bible. At other times, he'd come up with names we knew were made up. Everything came to a head shooting Series 6 when Derek went into yet another alleged possession. He attacked the makeup artist and started lashing out and punching people, all while being supposedly possessed. Of course, it was terrible. It was the final straw. I don't know if he knew we suspected him, but he started to take it out on me especially. On one occasion, he stuck his nose in my face and spat, "You're a witch, you're a witch." It was obvious he really hated me. Other times, he'd say explicitly sexual things to me when he was supposedly possessed, like, "I love your breasts. You're going to show me your breasts. Come on, show me your breasts." Jesus Christ. This guy, man. It felt like we'd created an egotistical monster. Mysterious death threat. Yvette later received a threatening voicemail, the source of which is still unknown. She added, "My last direct and bizarre contact with him, if indeed it was him, was while he was doing one of the US live shows. Someone left a voice message for me. It wasn't a death threat as such, but it was still very threatening. I'm watching you and I'm coming to get you." The voice was disguised and the accent was a weird mix of half Scouser, half American.
Well,
I handed my phone over to the police, who in turn contacted the police in the UK. The British police traced the call back to an address near Liverpool, and well, I think we all drew on our own conclusions, but I chose to take no further action. He proceeded to chase me around. Oh, sorry, that was a little quote from earlier. Yvette tells how she was all set to do a ghost hunting show with Robbie Williams in 2006, but his record company feared what it would do to his reputation and pulled the plug. She says, I was appearing on Nevermind the Buzzcocks when there was a knock on my dressing room door and I was gobsmacked to see Robbie Williams. He said, I'm such a massive fan of you guys. I'm really into ghosts and UFOs and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to come on Most Haunted. Robbie Williams did a series, didn't he, on UFOs a few years ago, I'm pretty sure.
I've not heard of it. If
Sure, I'm sure it did. I'm sure he did. But back then, he was worried it was going to ruin his career.
There you go.
So yeah. Anyway, that was sort of like, you know, how they got Derek Acorah. I mean, I don't know if they broadcast that. I wouldn't have thought so. But like, if you're just so sure that he's doing that, just bin him off.
Yeah,
I think the moment you hear him doing asking, you know, for information from a toilet cubicle, that he disappears every 10, 15 minutes regularly.
Yeah.
That's it. See you later.
It depends whether they might have just made the active decision to be like, well, numbers are good. Fuck it. Just let him go.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing on YouTube. Television, and I'm not making excuses for them at all. And it's not because Yvette Field, a friend of the show. But you've got, you know, ratings, you've got producers. There's so many factors to keep the show on the air.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying I understand at all, but it doesn't surprise me that things happen every episode, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what producer got that to happen then? Allegedly. I'm just, you know, but you know, it's one of them, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a results-driven business, making a TV.
Yeah. And if you had a full season where fuck all happened, you can almost guarantee you'll be cancelled.
Yeah, if they had a full season of our second trip to Darren Woods, you don't even know what.
In it. Oh, did you see my message in the chat the other day about just straight up camping?
Oh yeah.
Would you be up for that?
Yeah, do that.
Cool. Yeah. So I would like to film it. I would. Just to test it as, you know, a potential new thing. Because obviously, you know, we do the paranormal, we do urban exploration, and so I kind of thought, well, wild camping or just camping, you know, I'd still happily do some like solo vigils or whatever, or like solo walks in the middle of the night, just, you know, just for entertainment purposes. But yeah, I just think to go somewhere, camp, you know, not have to think like, right, we need to set a Ouija board up somewhere, right, we need to go do an Estes. Just think like, let's just like relax and have a laugh and maybe do some bushcraft and some cooking and stuff. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. So yeah, it's just see how it's received. Yeah, that's all like an idea that I had. So yeah. I think that's a nice place to kind of bring it to a close, Loz. I'm a fool.
I was going to say.
I haven't. Yeah, see, I don't have one.
Oh.
I didn't ask. I mean, let me just see if I didn't ask.
That's it.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm gonna. We talked about fudging earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about fudging. I'm now about to fudge the shit out of this, right?
Jesus.
So, technically, question of the pod, right? But the question was from me, and we're going to observe the answers from the patrons. Because I asked in the Patreon Duty Rhino chat, because over on Patreon, you've got a group chat that we're all in. Lozzie, have you spoken there yet?
I'm not in it.
Are you a patron?
No, I haven't yet. I need
Oh, it's
to.
Bailey that signed up.
It's Bailey, I think.
Oh, Lozzie.
I don't believe.
Come on.
I'm joking. I'll do it.
Get in,
I'll get
son.
in there.
Get in. So the other day, I asked for horror movie suggestions. Right, and we
Okay.
got some replies, some pretty cool ones. Tom Taylor Randall, Room 1408. Love that movie. You ever seen Room 1408?
That does ring a bell. Who's the guy
It's
in it?
what's the guy's name? He hasn't been in anything in ages, but he used to be like the Donny.
Cusack?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What's his name? John? Is it John Cusack?
John Cusack, yeah, I
John
think so.
Cusack. Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. I think I have
Um.
seen it ages ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it as a kid, and it fucked me up for ages, and I literally didn't watch it again until like last year. And then when I
Mm.
watched it last year, I loved it so much. I was going to do a video on it, like breaking it all down and stuff, but I didn't do it because I'm a fucking twat. But yeah, so that was a great suggestion. One that I had already seen, but a great movie. The Thing.
Okay.
The original, both the original and the remake were really good. To be honest, I don't think it was it was like a modern sequel. I think a
Yeah.
prequel.
I haven't watched the more modern one. I have watched.
It was all right. It was all right. But what they did, so they did like practical effects like they did in the original, but then they
Yeah.
layered over them because I watched like a little behind the scenes thing.
Okay.
So they did all the practical effects from the original, and they got like this amazing team to do all these incredible practical effects. And then in the last moments of production, they brought in a fucking CGI team to put CGI over the practical effects, and it just kind of looked a bit shite.
Yeah.
But yeah, good movie though. And did you know? Oh, you watched The Thing, didn't you? You watched The Thing. You watched the Xbox thing the other day. The Thing
Yes.
game is being remastered.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Was that not part of the showcase?
I can't
Probably,
remember if
probably
it
not then.
was. I've missed it completely.
Yeah, that was a great game. That was a fantastic. Did you ever play that?
No, I didn't. I don't think.
Had some insane mechanics, like so you had like you had a team, and you had to like do regular blood tests and stuff to prove that like no one on your team was the thing. But if
Oh,
you
right.
didn't do that, then like their fear levels would go up, and then they could go insane and stuff, and like just start
Jesus.
shooting you and shit. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. The Fog or The Mist? I don't know.
I know
Maybe
the
it's
mist. Don't
yeah.
know
Is
about
The
the fog.
Fog a film? The Fog movie.
Well, be.
Oh, it is. It is. Oh, wow. The Fog, 1980. Supernatural horror film directed by John Carpenter.
Oh, John Carpenter.
Fair play. An unearthly fog rolls into a small coastal town exactly 100 years after a ship mysteriously... Full stop. Okay. Great synopsis by MDB there. Bone Tomahawk, Ready or Not. I'm pretty sure I watched Ready or Not the other day, and I was impressed.
You're not.
Oh no, I did. No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Don't
But
think
I've
I have
seen the
seen it.
trailer. Yeah, a bride's wedding night takes a sinister turn when her eccentric new in-laws force her to take part in a terrifying game.
There you go.
Nice, nice, nice. Late Night with the Devil. Watched that again the other day. It's fantastic. Probably my movie of the year so far. It was great. It was absolutely great. But and then in the chat, we just scroll down a little bit. Time for some light reading. Tepper's Paranormal posted
There you
Yvette
go.
Fielding, Scream Queen, the UK's most celebrated female ghost hunter and most haunted icon. But yeah, so there is a couple of horror movies. There's also Bone Tomahawk, Infested, Deadstream, When Evil Lurks, or Exorcist 3. Some
Jesus.
great suggestions there. So we kind of flip reversed the Patreon question of the week this week. I will have a question of the week next week. I will ask. I forgot to ask. Obviously, I've literally just come from some urban exploration, so forgive me. But yeah, Lozzie, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great.
It's been good.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been enjoyable talking
Good
about Derek
stuff.
Acorah.
That's it. The second coming of Jesus Christ / King of the Scousers.
There we go. Second
Right.
thing, probably not so much.
There we go. Well, it's been emotional. It's been great. Please share the podcast around. If you listen to us, tell other people to listen to us. If you watch us, tell other people to watch us. Put it in your group chats. That's always a good way to get the message around. And yeah, we will see you again next week for another podcast. See you later, everyone. Bye.
See ya.